And you are watching the introductions as we return to the birthplace of intercollegiate basketball, Hamline University in St. Paul, Minnesota. Mike Beaton here as we wrap up the opening weekend slate of the high school girls basketball season. We've got 3 games coming to you from Hamline. The Centennial Cougars, 2-time Section 7 winners, and the White Bear Lake Area Bears hoping to find a better ending than last year when they were eliminated in the section semifinals. White Bear Lake beat Waconia yesterday. Centennial lost a tough one to Minnetonka, but these are 2 teams that kind of fly under the radar in the grand scheme of things. Both have lots of success in the postseason. Centennial going to many state tournaments and came close to winning it back in 2009 when they finished second. For Centennial, they're led by a couple of Division I caliber talents in Autumn McCall, who has verbaled to St. Thomas, and Marisa Frost, who is going to North Dakota State. White Bear Lake, they've got a few D1 commits as well and a 1 D2. Jordyn Schmittdiel is the big basketball commit. She will play at Northern Michigan. Heidi Barber going to UConn for softball. And Abby O'Brien also playing Division I. She'll go to Northern Iowa for soccer. And that has been the story with White Bear Lake and their teams over the last several years. They don't have superstars necessarily, but they have well-rounded athletes, and they will see more of that throughout this season. Of course, Roseville moving into their section, so that will make things a little more interesting for White Bear Lake. It was already a tough section over the last couple of years with Stillwater and Eastridge. Recapping the starters quickly, White Bear Lake, it's Kemi Bachmeyer, Addison Post, Elizabeth Wallach, Jordyn Schmittdiel, and Heidi Barber. Centennial, it's Kate Lee, Molly Munson, Marisa Frost, Autumn McCall, and Jordan Metz. And this venue, no stranger to a shot clock. It has been in place for the last several years, but it's the first year when the shot clock as a whole is now a thing at the high school level, as you know. That change was made before the start of this season. It's a 35-second clock, and it will reset to 20 for offensive rebounds. We're underway here at Hamline, and the birthplace of intercollegiate basketball and seemingly the birthplace of Thanksgiving weekend basketball. Schmittdiel with the rebound. Addison Post all alone, and Post gets on the board. White Bear Lake at 1-0, Centennial 0-1, but these are 2 teams who figure to be in the thick of it come section time. Molly Munson drains the 3 from the right wing. Centennial's on the board. And we'll get everyone up to speed on the players as we move along. Post, the kick out to Bachmeyer. Now back to Post at the corner. Bachmeyer tried to thread the needle, but a lot of traffic surrounding Heidi Barber. Centennial swings it around. Quick 3 is there. Molly Munson opening the game with a pair of trays, and Centennial takes an early 6-2 lead. Here's Barber to Schmittdiel. Around the key. Now Wallach, 10 to shoot. White Bear Lake trying to find a seam to go inside. Barber making the attempt. Can't hang on to it. Barber running into some early struggles in the post. Heidi just finished her high school prep football career. She was one of the quarterbacks for the White Bear Lake Area Bears. Here's Frost, another multi-sport athlete who has had a lot of success. She's fouled, she'll go to the line for 2. And Marisa Frost, a longtime fixture since our return to basketball coverage from the COVID year. Frost will join potentially a future Minnesota high school standout in Grace Massaquoi. Marisa Frost, the lefty, makes both free throws. That gets her on the board, and it's 8-2 Centennial over White Bear Lake. White Bear Lake soccer making it to state this year. Wallach trying to scoop it in, couldn't do so. This is Metz. Centennial swings it about. McCall fakes the three, but she traveled. That is the bane of every slasher. You forget to dribble before that first step. Marisa Frost, by the way, with those 2 points, is now 6 away from 1,000. I do see a few 1,000 signs ready if she can get there. Yesterday, we got to witness a 1,000-point score in Liv McGill, who broke the mark with her first bucket of the game in the win over Davenport North, and then she proceeded to get her first ever 30-point game. In fact, that has been the theme this weekend, a lot of new 30-point entrants who had never reached that mark before. Metz for three, short. Earlier today, Evan Apinga, who's here to support her AAU teammate Jordyn Schmittdiel, she dropped 36. She never had more than 22. And then in the very next game, Analea Salanoa of Roseville hit 10 threes, 34 points, her first ever 30-point game. A lot of history in the opening stages of the new season, and this is why we keep coming back and why I keep coming back no matter what call letters I'm representing. Elizabeth Wallach's drive came up short. Schmittdiel will be called for the foul on McCall. Other notables, Totino Grace 2-0. Yes, the teams may not have been the strongest, but that's a much better place than they were last year. And Providence Academy looking like their old selves. Marisa Frost pulls up from the elbow, off the back iron. Schmittdiel brings it up after the rebound was tipped her way. White Bear Lake trying to get on the board. Another drive. McCall got the block, could not keep it in bounds. But Addison Post gives up a few inches on McCall, 5'5" against 6'1", 6'2", maybe 6'2" with the shoes. Barber off the inbound, missing the three, and Abby O'Brien came up with it. Post. 6 to shoot. On the move again. This time walled off by Kate Lee. Post having a tough time penetrating that interior. Lee tried to bounce it over to number 21, Emma Thompson, and it was deflected by White Bear Lake. New floor this year for Hamlin. We've seen a couple of floor renovations over the years. Ooh, nice cut. But Metz could not handle it properly, and the ball is poached from her grasp. This is Abby O'Brien, the UNI soccer commit. White Bear Lake, historically not necessarily a team that floors it. They can, but they're a team that does get better as the season moves along. Centennial as well. They've had to overcome some slow starts before winning Section 7-4A. So these are two groups who might run into some headwinds early if patterns stay true to form, but they are going to be teams to watch come February, March. Centennial with a couple of cracks down low, nothing doing. Schmittdiel again, hands it off. Wallach. Barber will shoot two. Heidi Barber, as we noted before, quarterback, one of them anyway, for White Bear Lake football. also takes up softball, which would go without saying if you were paying attention to me and if I was paying attention to me, because I said she was going to UConn for softball, so you would hope she would still play softball, or that would get real awkward. But I always appreciate the athletes who stay with it in other sports, even after they commit to one. You're only in high school one time, and it's also nice to take up a sport where you're here to have fun. You're not worried about how it might reflect on the rankings or things of that nature. Frost, the runner, comes up short, and Schmittdiel is fouled on the rebound. It's 8-3. Centennial over White Bear Lake in a game that is off to a slow start for now. That may change over the course of this one. And these are two teams, again, that usually find a way to enter the conversation come section time. High pass picked up by O'Brien near the corner. She tried to slip her way underneath. Couldn't find the slipstream. And Centennial will take over on the dead ball rebound. Jeremy Post, head coach at White Bear Lake. He's been at the helm for a long time. Jamie Soboluk at Centennial as Frost fires the three. This is one thing, and I've noticed this when we've had games on college campuses. You'll notice that the three-point line, they have one for the high school dimensions, but the three-point line a little further out now, matching the international levels. And a lot of athletes, when they look at spatial awareness, as Barber lines up a three, there's another example. Barber could have moved up another foot or two, and she still would have been good for a three. But when you see that line and the peripheral vision, you're not necessarily looking at which line is the true three-point line. Your first instinct is, where's the line? That's less of an issue now than it used to be, with so many players incorporating deep three-point shots into their artillery. But it is worth noting at places like Hamlin, Anoka Ramsey, which hosts the Hall of Fame Classic, and St. Catherine, who hosts the MLK Invite. Barber, there's a three, and it's pure. And you saw Heidi Barber again moving a step forward. It's not the college line you got to worry about, it's the high school line, and she does just that. 8-6 our score. McCall. Centennial coughs it up. It's interesting to think about, though, with that three-point line. It was about 10, 11 years ago that it was first extended from what used to be the high school range. They moved it a foot out, and then they matched it to the international regulations. White Bear Lake in trouble. This is Post. Zagging, looking for a passing lane, won't get it. White Bear Lake keeps it on the side out with 11 seconds on the shot clock. Coincidentally, one of the helpers at this event, Camille Cummings, a Centennial graduate. This is Barber. The pass pinball back to Post and found herself open, but a little too much mustard on the layup attempt. 8-6 the score. And again, a sluggish start for the two sides. Frost. Turnaround move by number 25. That's Sydney Schmitz. Doesn't land. Kemi Bachmeyer out to Barber. Wanted the three, doesn't have the shooting space for it. Now they'll take one from the key. That was Bosman, Anna Bosman, number 22. Bosman, the senior, and one of the players that might get some more time this year. McCall for three. Swish! Mets with the dime. McCall on the board. Centennial, intriguingly, 3 field goals, all 3-pointers. Barber looking to answer. Yes. Barber up to 7, 11-9 the score. Heidi Barber, the one person in any kind of rhythm right now for White Bear Lake, but we still have a long way to go. In yesterday's game over Waconia, White Bear Lake got 20 points out of Jordyn Schmittdiel, 13 out of Heidi Barber. They were 2 critical components of last year's team. And looking at last year's numbers, Jordyn Schmittdiel averaged 14.5, Barber 9.6. Again, White Bear Lake, they're not a team that impresses you with raw scoring. They can do it. Really, they're one of those teams that can be deceptive. You think they're a team that just plays a deliberate style. No, they're just gritty, hard-nosed. Not necessarily the flashiest, but they know how to get it done. They got to state back in 2022 and won bronze that year, pulling off a upset in the quarterfinals. Punctuated by Jeremy Post wearing his WNBA hoodie at a game. So back to action following the timeout. McCall at the high post. Finds help in Sydney Schmitz. Another foul and another side out for the Cougars. And here's an example of what we're talking about with another foul on White Bear Lake here. First personal foul, Madison Post, but the shot clock again resetting to 20 on offensive rebounds. And that apparently was a last-minute change put in place. Initially, I think the expectation was the shot clock would reset to 35. Instead, they put it to 20, matching the college level. And I suppose that's going to be a highlight-worthy entry for Elizabeth Wallach. That was a high scoop and score. But I suppose, I think the idea behind it is you're already set. Marisa Frost looking for her first field goal, won't get it there. Tied at 11. Barber, 3-ball, short. Nobody on O'Brien. Now Post launches the 3. In and out. O'Brien again tipped the rebound. She'll draw the foul. Side out for White Bear Lake, and again the shot clock resets to 20. I suppose the logic behind it is you're already set up where you need to be offensively, and it might stop. I don't know how, well, it'd be hard to pull off. I'm thinking, would you intentionally try to miss a shot to run more clock off? That'd be really hard to do outside of transition looks. O'Brien on the fake. Dashes in and will shoot 2. No, I thought it was a shooting foul. It was ruled otherwise. And the officials going to the scores table and asking for the reset to 20. There's going to be a learning curve for everybody as O'Brien, looking for that three, sees it bounce off the backboard and the rim. 11-11. Just don't say 11. That's not a number. McCall missing on the turnaround. O'Brien, nope, that's post to Schmittdiel, pass deflected. So far, even though we were talking up and hyping up the names we thought would be impact players, and they still could, Schmittdiel, McCall, Frost, all of them haven't been able to log much on that score sheet, at least not yet. Barber's got 9 for White Bear Lake. She's the only one in sync right now. White Bear Lake hoping to change that here. Post, 3-ball, corner pocket. Post up to 5. And White Bear Lake in front. Kate Lee lost it on the way in. Centennial nearly overthrew the inbound pass, but Frost able to retrieve it. Offensive foul away from the ball. An illegal screen. It's on McCall. So White Bear Lake brings it up. Another reminder, these two are familiar with the dimensions, of course. The college venues, 10 feet longer. Schmittdiel for 3, looks short. Post able to save it, not directly, but she stayed in bounds. Jordyn Metz tried to track it down after the ball was deflected off of her position. Post with an acrobatic play to keep possession on the White Bear Lake side. Ball did not touch rim, so the shot clock didn't reset. 6 to shoot for the Bears. Post sees it, has that deflected. And this is something Kevin Anderson, I caught up with him today. We see this at the college and pro level, of course. We'll see how they execute at the high school level. Working with an inbound late in the shot clock. They've got 2 seconds. They got to get it quick. The clock didn't go, and that will be a violation as post runner did not touch rim. One of the new quirks, new facets with the shot clock. Again, this invitational has used it for the last several years. The only difference was an offensive rebound would reset to the full 35. But these two, they've been here a long time. Here's a 3. 3-ball corner pocket. Her first field goal. And now Frost 3 points away from 4 digits, 1,000 to be precise. Abby O'Brien says, right back at ya. That is her first field goal, 17-14. Centennial threw it away, 4:56 on the clock. White Bear Lake turns it over on their end. A couple of sloppy passes in the last couple of possessions. What a weekend, though. The potential to see 2 1,000-point scores. 3 players reach 30 points for the first time ever in a game. And those are just the games I've covered. Kate Lee cut a little too far inside. Jordyn Metz ends up slinging it out of bounds. Schmittdiel out at the high post. Hands it off to O'Brien. Wants the 3. Works off the screen. Now Schmittdiel trying to fake out McCall. A couple of future college commits. Now Schmittdiel muscles in and can't hang on. No! Centennial touched it last. I stand corrected. White Bear Lake will have 10 to shoot. Nope, there's 20. Barber, touch 3. Not there. That's post again. Slips it to Schmittdiel for her first field goal. Timeout Centennial. Jordyn Schmittdiel again scored quite a bit in the first game with Laconia. Averaged 14.5 last year. And we'll be going to the Wildcats of Northern Michigan out in the GLIAC. So a Division II path is in her sights. Jordyn Schmittdiel took up soccer as well, although she ended her soccer career a little earlier. Played on a club team that took second place in a national tournament. She would take up events like USA Cup. So she focuses mostly on basketball now. And she has been an integral player over the last few years. She was part of that team that made it to state in 2022. Lauren Eckerly, Nevaeh Hughes, you might remember those two. They were the bona fide leaders of that group. Nevaeh Hughes, who had gone through a lot of strife to get to where she is now, playing college ball. Consider that one of her highlights, and it's a reminder of how much this game, how much these accomplishments mean to them. Schmittdiel on the board, and White Bear Lake with their largest lead of the game, 19-14. Centennial got the early jump. Here's Metz from the key. Swish! First field goal for Metz. Now more of the players are starting to get involved. More of the usual faces, the usual suspects. Barber, handoff, launches another 3, and again, using that college line as a reference. That will be a foul on White Bear Lake. It's on Wallach, her first. McCall. That's Frost, I should say. They're on the same AAU program, so forgive me if I mix them up. McCall and Frost, I think they played on the same team. I know they're definitely part of the same program, Minnesota Fury. One of the big clubs. Schmittdiel out at the high post again. I think McCall might have gotten a piece of that elbow J from post. But we've seen Schmittdiel operate out of the high post on a couple of these sets to try to set up a screen and maybe a direction for a teammate. Jump ball, and the arrow favors Centennial. Molly Munson getting tripped up there. Hamlin, host of the Pat Patterson Thanksgiving tip-off for nearly 20 years. It started as a 4-team pod, and in the subsequent years it expanded. Another side out for Centennial, 2:25 on the clock. And two teams who have tasted success. And one of those players who was part of that, Anna Sanders, she's back as an assistant coach. 3 ball. Kate Lee missing the mark there. Schmittdiel around, drew the blocking foul. From up here, it's on Claire Pullman. From up here, it might have gone either way, I don't know. I'm wondering if Pullman at the end there might have shoveled her feet ever so slightly, taking her away from that set position. Schmittdiel with her first trip to the free throw line. Part of the Minnesota Prep AAU program. She and Evita Pinga, again, teammates on the club circuit. Less than 2 minutes to go, and what has been a tight game. Neither side has led by more than 6. Offensive foul, we're going the other way. With this game, it almost feels like you're waiting for one of these two to build up a massive, monstrous run, take control, seize the day, establish the narrative. It's been close. No major swings yet. Another 3 for Centennial, this one short. O'Brien hands it off to Schmittdiel, who will bring it up. Schmittdiel doing a little bit of everything. Skips it across the baseline to number 10, that's Maddie Thompson. Thompson again out of the wing, moving inside, Schmittdiel. Wanted to slip it in, and said Centennial will go the distance, and Marisa Frost completes the transition look. Her next point will put her at 1,000. .40 seconds remain in the first half. Here's Thompson again. Schmittdiel trying to curl her way in. Will kick out instead, 10 to shoot. O'Brien fakes, looking for space. 5 to shoot. Schmittdiel baits McCall, but Metz was set. Offensive foul on Schmittdiel. No free throws because it's a team control foul. Schmittdiel with her second, and Jeremy Post won't take any chances here. Schmittdiel will sub out for the final 24 seconds. Barber will take her spot. Not going to take any risk and get that third foul prematurely. Centennial will hope for the last shot, it appears. Instead, it's a poke. Now a scramble. McCall picks it up. Frost did not get back in time. Backcourt violation, and Marisa Frost will have to wait a little longer to catch that 1,000th point. White Bear Lake with 2.7 seconds. Oh, yeah. That was a little bizarre. Wallach had 2.7 seconds. She had time to dribble it up before launching it, but I'm not them. I can't speak to their psyche in a moment like that. What I can speak to is a tight game here, 21-19, between a pair of 4A perennials. White Bear Lake with a 2-point lead as they look to complete the opening weekend with a win. We'll come back for the second half. You're watching the Pat Patterson Thanksgiving Tip-Off event at Hamline University. Twin Cities Sports Broadcasting and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves. Holloman, good if it goes. Yes! Game winners. James, she's in trouble. Finds James. Toss shot! It goes in! And everything in between. Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. Let's put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching. We've got a few games for you in December as we get everything situated. 21-19, the second half about to get underway here at Hamline University. White Bear Lake looking to sweep the weekend to begin the new year. Centennial hoping to get one back after dropping a tough one with Minnetonka. Foul on Centennial as we start the second half. And as you saw, again, some of the growing pains with the new shot clock rules, getting it reset, and all that goes with it. This is Post. Lobs it to a wide open Schmittdiel, misses the layup, and can't flip it in. Those are buckets you really want to have. As Schmittdiel works her way inside, she will shoot two. That was McCall, I should say. Autumn McCall up to 4 points. And now 5. A reminder on the Milestone tracker, Marisa Frost, her next point will put her at 1,000. It's one of those things that maybe doesn't impress as much as it used to with so many players, but it's always a distinguished achievement. Frost lost her balance. McCall will pick this up for the backcourt violation. Although nobody was near it, White Bear Lake certainly not in pursuit, so not going to be a problem for anybody. As a few more folks file in. Jeremy Post having a discussion with one of the officials before the inbound here. Over what, I don't know yet. And we'll see how this game goes too, if it wraps up quickly enough for post-game interviews with the back-to-back nature of games. it can be tricky to fit in. Shot clock winding down, but White Bear Lake draws a foul inside. And almost get caught up in that. I believe both teams still have 4 timeouts left. Barber had a couple of threes early on. Autumn McCall with another block. Nobody reached the double-digit mark for Centennial yesterday. But McCall and Frost are the 2 big names. Heidi Barber can't get that deep 3 to land. McCall out to Frost. Sliding through, lunging. That's it, 1,000 points in acrobatic form. Centennial will take a full timeout. And I think I know why, based on that reaction. It's always a magical moment when you can reach a milestone, whether it's 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, or beyond. And Centennial using this timeout so that Marisa Frost can receive her salutations. Going up to her family, embracing them for all they're worth, and will take a celebratory walk down the bleachers back into the huddle. Marisa Frost, the newest member of the 1,000 Point Club at Centennial, a program that has put out many talented athletes over the years. The most recognizable, perhaps Megan Knipe, AAU teammates with Taylor Hill. They have fielded a lot of great players over the years. And their football team, of course, won their first ever state championship last night in Class 6A, holding off Edina. But Marisa Frost, I wonder if that timeout iced her inadvertently. But she's got 1,000. And she will forever hold a spot in that 1,000 point club for Centennial. Centennial, by the way, does take the lead until Addison Post tied it on the take. Metz for 3, got it. Frost with the dime. Jordyn Metz with her second triple. It's 26-23. So Centennial down to 3 timeouts. And we'll keep that in mind. Another thing to keep in mind, Molly Munson of Centennial picking up her 3rd personal foul. That could pose a challenge or two. Inbound pass tipped, so Post can retrieve it without a backcourt violation. Barber, side fade, 3 ball. Off the front lip. Tie up. And Centennial with the possession arrow. Metz on the left side. Frost almost lost her footing, maintains her balance. McCall had it. Lee can't knock in the second chance try. White Bear Lake with numbers. Wallach in a tough spot though. And Marisa Frost comes up from behind for the sneak attack. Lee, pass was tipped. And Post hit with the foul. Kate Lee managed just 3 points yesterday. Again, Centennial ran into that stingy defensive synchronicity of Minnetonka. We'll see them later this evening when they play Lakeville South. Kate Lee missing the front end. An empty possession for Centennial. White Bear Lake. That's one way to make up for a errant outlet pass. Barber knew she was too far underneath. Just casually deflected it off a Centennial player to maintain possession and give White Bear Lake a chance for a reset. And another foul as Bachmeier got bumped from behind by Wallach, who was trying to keep up with her. O'Brien, Barber has a couple of threes, hasn't been consistent with that perimeter stroke yet. Seeing if she can locate it though, and again, this is still a tight one. Centennial with the edge in the second half. Not a big one, but we'll see if it can ignite a run, perhaps. That ball slipped through a few fingers, 5 to shoot. O'Brien. That might have been a hurry-up three. Mets. That should be a tie-up. No traveling violation. That was a heck of a move, though, by White Bear Lake. Getting in the way of Mets. They didn't get the jump ball, but as soon as Mets came down with it, that's a traveling violation. You can't hang on. You can't jump with the ball and come back down with it. Schmittdiel. She's got a step on McCall and converts. Just the second field goal for Schmittdiel, but she's up to 6, and it's a 1-point game. Centennial, of course, we were at this event last year, and they were in a close one with Chaska. Had a couple of chances to win it there. Couldn't quite get it done. O'Brien. Bachmeier. 8 to shoot. Post. Looking for Schmittdiel. Draws a foul. So more free throws coming for Jordyn Schmittdiel, who led the way with 20 points yesterday. Dealis Alamini haha to follow. Schmittdiel splits at the line. We're even at 26. In a tight game between two of these sleeper candidates. Metz's 3 goes off the backboard. Rebound secured by Bosman. Schmittdiel to post. Attacking from the left wing, came up short. McCall to Metz for three. Short, and Schmittdiel. And no trouble grabbing that board. Kickball. Shot clock, of course, resets to 20 on side outs and offensive rebounds. Schmittdiel kicks out three, a bit long. McCall had the position, post swooping in. Centennial ultimately comes up with it as the rebound rolled to Molly Munson, pass tipped. And Centennial will have to settle for a side out here. A little bit of trouble, but Kately able to retrieve that orange rock we call a basketball, of course. Marisa Frost to McCall, fakes the three, drives up the middle, layup too strong. Another rebound for Schmittdiel. Gets to McCall, goes to post. Bachmeier. Here comes a three. That one off target, but nobody covering the left wing. As you know, long shots mean long caroms. Schmittdiel slipping through the hole, had the drive knocked out of her grip. "12 seconds on the shot clock for White Bear Lake as we remain deadlocked at 26. Post, flips in the runner. Addison Post, the junior, with 9 points. Entry feed for McCall, picked off by Post, 2-on-2. White Bear Lake tried to get the timeout call in there. They do hold the possession arrow. But Post got herself in a jam. And now Centennial opts to take a timeout. At least that is the word I'm getting. And the officials are trying to clear this up. Oh, I see why. I didn't catch this initially. It's not a team timeout, it's an injury timeout. And it involves McCall. McCall will be examined by the trainer. Okay, so it was a Centennial timeout. McCall was limping back, and that is not a player you want to lose. McCall verbaling to St. Thomas, a school that has picked up a lot of in-state talent over the last several years since they moved up to Class 4 or Division 1, not Class 4A. Autumn McCall this season and over the last couple of years, one of the rising talents. 8.8 points per game, 9.2 rebounds per game last year. The junior, fluent in Spanish, and her favorite animals are turtles. And Jamie Sobolik calls her a tough matchup for opponents. Can get double-doubles. You hope she's all right. It is encouraging that she was able to get some weight on that right leg. And she's adjusting the shoelace. So she's going to spend some time at the athletic training table here at Hamline University. And Centennial will have to forge over the next few minutes at least. Without McCall, they do get a bit smaller. Here comes a three. Heidi Barber with her third triple. She's up to 10. And one of the replacements for the moment is Caitlin Peterson, the 6'1 junior. .9:44 left in this game. Centennial ball. This could be a key moment exchange. As that ball goes off of our scoreboard camera, I don't think it took a huge deflection. It happens sometimes when it goes up along that wall. 5 to shoot. Frost up and gets the friendly roll at the last possible moment. 11 points from Marisa Frost. 1,003 now. I don't know if she'll get to 2,000, but she'll take those two. And Abby O'Brien will take those two for White Bear Lake. They lead 33-28. Whoa. Centennial almost lost it. That's Peterson, who I believe is a volleyball athlete as well. Another sloppy pass. Centennial with 3 to shoot. Frost, long three. That's like those 60-plus yard field goals that you see NFL kickers attempt in the closing seconds of a half. Shot clock violation as the shot attempt did not touch rim. Barber from the left corner. Cannot drain that triple. Frost lining up the three, coming up short. That was Thompson. Shuffled her feet ever so slightly, and Schmittdiel draws the foul. That is the last to give for the Cougars, and Claire Pullman hit with her fourth. She comes off the bench, so not the biggest risk in terms of personnel, but again, Centennial out of fouls to give for the remainder of this game. Schmittdiel clutched it. That might have impacted the drive. I thought she had the space to go in for a finger roll, but she will get a chance at two and pad this White Bear Lake lead. She's at 7 points right now. Most of her production has come from the free throw line. And again, with White Bear Lake, they don't have explosive scores, or that's not their style or how they pick up their wins. They get it done through just some good team ball. And there's all sorts of ways to make an impact in this game. Autumn McCall still being serviced. Marisa Frost cold as ice on that take to the rim. Barber trying to thread it to Schmittdiel down low. Pass intercepted by Frost. Coast to coast. And now the margin is 3, 35-32. Back-to-back buckets for Centennial after White Bear Lake held their largest lead of the game. Barber nearly lost it. And a timeout for White Bear Lake. 7 minutes to go in the second half, 35-32. We've got a close one here at Hamline University. Twin Cities Sports Broadcasting and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves. Holloman, good if it goes. Yes! Game winners. James, she's in trouble. Finds James. Toss shot! It goes in! And everything in between. Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. That put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching. We're back with less than 7 minutes to go. Molly Munson able to time the pass up top. Frost. Inside 14, swishes it down. Marisa Frost. Depending on how you define it, either playing up to her name or embodying the exact opposite of it. She's got 17. And Centennial within one, as we could have a photo finish in our sights. O'Brien, this would be huge for White Bear Lake. 3 slightly long. Rebound by Sydney Schmitz. And Centennial, they're doing this again without McCall, who is still being looked at by the trainer. And the Cougars, they've got another big game in a couple of weeks with Lakeville North. Pass tip back to Frost. She's got to go. Shot clock nearly expires, but Marisa Frost making time. 19 for Frost, and she is leading a one-woman show for the Cougars right now. Addison Post answers on the other end. White Bear Lake will take a timeout. 37-36. So a couple of quick timeouts for the Bears. And here we go again. Another tight one. We thought this might be the case, considering how well these two have performed. But a little more about Marisa Frost, the soccer, basketball athlete, the lefty, considered to have one of the best court visions out there, alongside Chloe Johnson, Anisha Scott, Kendall McGee. To be a great passer, I think that the biggest part is looking down the court and having good court vision. A player needs to know where the other 4 teammates are, and this is in a breakdown interview that she did, a Q&A. As a youth player, she was a big fan of the Minnesota Lynx and their big core, Maya Moore, Lindsay Whalen, and the like, but it's not her passing that is boosting Centennial, it's her driving ability. Lee missing the 3. Schmittdiel with the rebound. McCall to Post. White Bear Lake with a 1-point lead. Bachmeyer. We've seen quite a few of those 3-point fakes here in this one at Hutton Arena. Schmittdiel. More traffic. White Bear Lake comes up with it. Shot clock reset to the full 35. Now Schmittdiel fires a three from the corner. It will bounce harmlessly out of bounds. Dead ball rebound to Centennial. I don't know the severity of McCall's injury, and I certainly won't speculate for that reason. But I've noticed they've been working on her ankle, and looks like a couple of folks are down there to see just how serious it could be. Meanwhile, Molly Munson was fouled on the way in, and free throws coming with a chance to take the lead. White Bear Lake with 2 to give, Centennial in the penalty. They're going to tape up McCall's ankle, it looks like. And the reason I mention this, as Monson misses both free throws, it does carry some importance on whether or not she will return for this game. Schmittdiel didn't see a lane, goes out to post for 3, and it's pure. There's more than one way to make an impact. Schmittdiel demonstrating that on the dime. Post with 14. Post and Frost, the big playmakers here. We mentioned some of the athletes to come through Centennial's ranks, the multi-sport players. Sydney Cuse is one. Camille Cummings, who is now playing at Hamlin. She was a solid athlete. Barber threw it away after getting the block. Frost with the extra pass to Munson. That is a huge swing. 40-38. As they say in Zombieland, well, maybe not quite that way. Time to put up or shut up. Schmittdiel puts up the second chance layup after the post miss. Schmittdiel with 11. She's had to work hard for that 11, but it's helping White Bear Lake here. Another errant pass. Bachmeyer has post alongside her, but she could not get enough, and then a bump on Bachmeyer. Just one foul left to give now for White Bear Lake. And that is also the fourth on Bachmeyer, as the public address announcer indicates. McCall walking back to the Centennial bench for the moment. We'll see what happens. Right now, Centennial trying to find a way. McCall isn't putting her right shoe back on, so that may indicate that she will not be able to return, but we'll have to wait and see. Post is fouled and will get helped up and shoot a pair with 2:18 to go. Post with 14 points, 9 of them coming in the second half. Splits there. White Bear Lake 7 of 10, Centennial 4 of 9. And at the moment, Centennial probably could have used some of those points. White Bear Lake coming up with a bevy of turnovers late. Outlet pass to Bachmeyer. An opportunistic moment for your first points of the game in Bachmeyer. And with 1:55 left, Centennial using a timeout. White Bear Lake up by 7. And now in position potentially to close out with a win. Of course, we have a couple more games, and if there's enough time, we'll try to get a post-game conversation for you with a player or two from the winning side. Our next game is scheduled for 6:30 between Minnehaha and De La Salle. And with the nature of these tip-off events, it can be tough to get the post-game interviews like we typically do in our coverage, because we got to get ready for the next game. It's not like the state tournaments that you see on NSPN or 45 TV where you have a mandated warm-up time and it will not be messed with. That gives you a little more time to get all your bearings, your wits about you. We'll do our best, but White Bear Lake playing their best when it matters most. Addison Post with 15 points, Schmittdiel with 11. Not a high-scoring affair, but they add up. Jordyn Metz got the friendly bounce on the drive. It's 45-40. Here is where the shot clock could come into play. Schmittdiel finds Bachmeyer. No! Schmittdiel underneath draws the foul. That is the value of a player like Schmittdiel, who maybe didn't have the best performance. Not a ton of touches, but she made a significant jump last year, taking over the leadership reins after Eckerly and Hughes graduated. Schmittdiel missing the front end. And White Bear Lake will be in the double bonus the rest of the way. That was a shooting foul there. The 1-and-1 rule still applies here in Minnesota. Schmittdiel splits, goes up to 12. 46-40 Centennial. They need a bucket here. Metz nearly turned it over. Still having trouble gripping it now. Frost, who couldn't be stopped, fires the step back three. Swish. And here's where the shot clock comes into play. Again, no stranger to this invitational, but Centennial can play for a stop. They don't have to foul. Big possession here for White Bear Lake. They're working the clock. Post. Tries to draw the foul. "14 seconds on the shot clock for White Bear Lake. Barber for the dagger. Offensive rebound, and again, it resets to 20, so Centennial doesn't have to foul. White Bear Lake will take a timeout, though. 26.8 seconds remain. 11 on the shot clock. What's at stake? White Bear Lake can go to 2-0 with the win. And it would be another gritty one. That seems to be the mantra for White Bear Lake, who participates in a lot of these invitationals. They'll be at the Breakdown Tip-Off Classic next week. They have a game before that with Eden Prairie, and they'll play Minnetonka at the Tip-Off Classic. So 2 of the Lake Conference's best await them. Later on, they will face Lakeville North at the Granite City Classic, another breakdown event. And they will also take part in the Hall of Fame Classic at Anoka Ramsey. Spring Lake Park will be their opponent then. So this team, who typically gets better as the season moves along, facing a lot of high caliber 4A teams, in November and December. They do have a game with Elk River as well, so it's going to be a week filled with opportunities for the Bears. Elk River, Eden Prairie, a team that looks a little different. I feel that seems to be the story for a lot of these perennials. They're getting a good test here against the Centennial team that has reached the state tournament in each of the last 2 years. 9 to shoot. White Bear Lake. Post all alone. There's your dagger. 17 for Addison Post, 12 in the second half. How did she get that open? Nobody was on her. Centennial's 3 off the rim. Barber's got it. She's fouled, but it won't matter. White Bear Lake grinds out another one. That seems to be how they do it. And Addison Post, the junior, refusing to back down, not letting size get in the way. Heidi Barber to shoot a couple. White Bear Lake in the double bonus, but it's academic here. And for Heidi Barber, the UConn softball commit, looking to go out in style on the basketball court. It's a final. White Bear Lake completes the weekend sweep to start 23-24, 50-43 over Centennial. Addison Post with 17. A big second half effort from the junior. We'll see if we can get a word with her before our next game. This is the Pat Patterson Thanksgiving tip-off at Hamlin. White Bear Lake beats Centennial 50-43. Joining me is Addison Post, the junior from White Bear Lake. Addison, 17 points and a lot of big plays in the late stages of this one. What would you make of your second half effort, because that made the difference for White Bear Lake?
Probably in the locker room we talked about how just the little things to get me going is what me and my coach talked about, and I'm really focusing on defense and then trying to get my offense going and then helping the team.
What takeaways can you gather from a game like this against a state tournament perennial in Centennial? They hung with you until the end. I don't think either side led by more than 7 points. Probably a taste of what you can expect come February and March.
It was a gritty win. We definitely battle with Centennial every single year. Definitely getting together as a team. We were talking about how we just need to execute on defense and then really come together as an offense. Our word tonight was connected, to make sure we were connected with each other to get a win over Centennial.
That last play where you dropped the dagger, you were up by 3. I don't think I've ever seen someone get that open, but when you realized everyone on Centennial pretty much forgot where you were, when did you sense that opportunity?
Well, we drew up that play. I didn't think I was going to be that open. When I looked, I was like, oh, there's no one around. But we knew that one was going to work because they've been overplaying us this whole time. So then it was just put it in the basket.
And in one of those situations, I know sometimes players can almost get too open and they lose track of it. You didn't flinch. How would you say your confidence and your swagger have built up over the years playing on White Bear Lake and being involved in some close ones?
Yeah, definitely. I've been trying to work up my confidence. That also comes with shooting, becoming more of a shooter to help my confidence get going more. So that's definitely been a big thing for me.
White Bear Lake 2-0 to start the new season. Of course, some tough games ahead, and the Suburban East usually gives you a challenge or two. But what are you looking forward to most with the first weekend out of the way?
Just seeing how this team comes together, because we have a chance to be really good and make a big run in the state tournament and try to get there. So I'm really excited to see how we all come together as a team.
And before we go, you want to say hi to anybody?
Hi, Mom.
Well, hi, Mom. I'm sure she has a lot to smile about. 17 points. I'm sure she's proud of everything you've accomplished so far. and everything that's coming your way. Addison, thanks for the time, and enjoy the rest of the weekend, and good luck.
Thank you.
That's Addison Post of White Bear Lake. We'll have more coverage from the Pat Patterson Thanksgiving tip-off shortly.